The following is brought to you by PaulAkers.net.
Welcome to AME's 2-Second Lean series. And without further ado, we're going to go a short distance from Toronto to Orchard Park in New York State to Sticky RX.
So I said earlier that Dave and I had an interesting relationship because we always banter back and forth, and Dave's always busting my chops. I think it's real important for everyone to know, though, that at least 50% of the time, Dave has been right. So he's challenged me on a lot of things in my own company and just the way I do things. And, you know, I've been pausing and saying, okay, Dave. And so we ran the experiment, and Dave was right many times. Dave, without further ado, take it away because we're going to see some awesome stuff.
Okay. Awesomeness. Good morning, everyone.
All right.
Welcome to Sticky RX. Dave Lalonic here. I want to thank you guys all for participating and taking the time to view this tour today. So every morning here we start with a grateful. I'm going to do that. We're very grateful for Richard at AME. We're extremely grateful for Paul Akers, even though he busts my balls more than I bust his, I'll tell you that. But Paul's been a blessing. We really are happy about that. Very, very grateful for the lean community that's inspired us, and a lot of things you're going to see here we've robbed from other people, really. So it's great. I'm extremely grateful for my team. 99% of what you're about to see is them, not me. So, but there's one more grateful. My brother from another mother, my buddy Tom Hughes from Ireland. We have become great friends. Tom's an awesome human being. I hope you're watching, Tom. Okay, so I'm going to talk a little bit about our company intro. So back in 1997, I founded Automated Machine Technologies, a contract engineering manufacturing company. That is the basis for this organization. You'll see some CNC machines in the background. So about 6 years ago, after I bought a Ferrari and had this problem, we started a division called Sticky RX Refinishing Solutions. Essentially, exotic car manufacturers like Ferrari, Maserati, Lamborghini, Alfa Romeo, they use a soft touch coating on their interior hard trim parts. And this coating, as you can see, literally turns to tar and melts, hence the word sticky. So as Sticky RX, the prescription to fix this problem, we get these parts in from all over the entire world. We strip them bare, we refinish them with a hard touch coating. Parts that have graphics all get laser etched and they illuminate like they should from the factory. And we're doing this all over the entire world. So it's been a great journey. So as far as lean goes, how did we get started in lean and why did we start with lean? So the truth of the matter is I was never a good leader of a company. I was a guy that knew how to do technical things. I just wasn't a person that knew anything about running a business. And I've had many employees throughout the years. And there was an employee here who was very, very talented, but very, very wasteful. I worked for about 1.5 years trying to massage his behavior to no success. And I was desperately looking for a way to maintain this gentleman and make things better. So, you know, the book, The Road Less Stupid, one of the great takeaways is you get what you tolerate. And I tolerated all kinds of stuff that I shouldn't have, which caused a bad culture. So in my search to find something better, I came across Paul Akers' videos and lean manufacturing. Now I knew about lean prior, but the more textbook version that's overly complicated with charts and graphs that nobody really gives a crap about. So I started watching Paul's videos, and very quickly I realized that this was not the way to solve the problem of this one individual. It was the way to change the culture and the right thing to do for the company, including really changing a lot of my bad behavior. So on April 1st, 2019, not April Fool's joke, we rolled out lean, did a PowerPoint presentation. I sent it to Paul on the prior weekend. He got back to me with an audio message in maybe a few hours and totally encouraged us and was there to help support us. We rolled it out. Everybody received it pretty well, but sadly, the person in question, after about 3 weeks, was terminated because he just didn't want to come aboard. So with that, I'm going to talk about our morning Kata. So the first hour of each day, we work to develop ourselves. So we start at 7 a.m. sharp. We have stretches, and we do about 25 minutes of human development through audiobooks, videos. And at 7:30, we walk out on the floor. We do an improvement walk. Everybody here makes one improvement minimum a day, including myself. And we've made thousands of improvements. You guys will see that. So Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 7:30 to 8, we do 3S, to typical, sort, sweep, standardize. And people can make improvements during that time as well. The Tuesdays and Thursdays, we do what's called Soji, where we don't have any music playing, no machines, no talking, and we clean the facility. And that concept was taught to me in Japan with Paul. It's basically a way to clean your mind while you clean. And it's a great concept, and it works wonderful for us. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Rich, who's going to talk
David,
about...
just so
Yes,
you know,
sir.
Dave, and we learned that from a monk. One of the monks that spoke at a Japan study mission that you went to taught us
Correct.
this concept of Soji.
Correct. And it's
And
really...
nobody's done a better job of implementing Soji than Dave, better than we've done or anyone. Dave really took this concept and ran with it. It's beautiful.
Yeah, and you know, it really does condition your mind. I mean, when you clean and you just think about things, it just puts you in a better position to start the day. So we really enjoy it. In summer, we pull weeds outside and everything. So it's really pretty neat. And what I have to say, most people can't get their head around the concept that we burn 1 hour every day where we don't work. Well, we get about 40% more done than we ever did before we started doing this. So anybody that thinks that they can't make this investment, you just got to have faith, because it works out. I'm telling you.
Right. Awesome.
Okay.
All right, hello guys. So I'm going to take you to our coffee break room area, which was the first area in our company touched by lean. And it was more of the model that set the standards for everywhere else in the shop. So if you follow me, I have a picture to show of before. As you can see here, things were just sloppily placed on the counters. There was no homes. We had notes saying, notify me before empty. Well, two questions. What does before empty mean? Is that when there's half left? Is that when there's one left? And the second question is, who's me? I don't know who me is. So if you look now, you'll see we have everything neatly organized in an assembly line fashion. There's strong visual indicators everywhere, so you know exactly what goes where. It's not just about the location and the organization of that aspect. It's about how it's used, how frequently it's used. So it's where it's needed, and that's where you're going to place it. It doesn't do you any good if it's across the building. So here we have our coffee. If this runs out, you'll be wondering, well, where do I get coffee? Well, it makes sense that it'd be right above it. So right above, we have our stock and our safety stock with our attached Kanban card. We have box cutters to open the boxes if need be. So everything you need is right here, struggle-free. Progress to the right, and you'll see the same exact thing. Creamers, cups, all right above.
And that sugar Paul loves so much.
So we'll progress to the right, and you'll see the same stuff. Paper towels, trash bag liners, light bulbs, all neatly placed. And we also have things crumb trailed. So this will be a good time to talk about what a crumb trail is. A crumb trail is a piece of information that's left so that you know exactly where to go to restock. We don't stock the paper towels here because it wouldn't really make sense. So we have one here to replace once this one's empty. Once this is gone, whoever takes it knows they have to go to the janitorial, rack 1, 3A, which is our shelving. So they don't go to the janitorial area. This is great because any new employee coming here knows exactly where to go without asking the question to replace it. So we go down here, we see the same thing. Everything you need to clean the sink in this area neatly organized with crumb trails and labels, and it couldn't be any easier. I'll take you to our
there's zero ambiguity in everything. I noticed something too, that you have the copy right next to the machine, because most people would just reach up in the cabinet, open the door, and then put the puck in. But that's extra motion that you have to perform, and it's so much faster just to reach right from there, go right there, and then open the door, close the door, and do all that other nonsense.
Exactly. So I'll take you to our bathroom next, and this is something we're really proud about. This area is always kept spotless. We all clean it. Doesn't matter if it's Dave or whoever it is, we all clean. We have everything we need right here with crumb trails and proper labels. And we have our amazing Toto washlets. And this has to touch on the fact of respect for people and resources. This isn't really saving any money of toilet paper, but it's a very amazing thing to have for the employees that work here, and not just the employees, but the people coming into our building using our facilities.
And they're on every single toilet we have.
That's correct.
Incredible, because it's better to wash than smear for all of you out there.
Exactly. So we also have our restroom lock key here. And this is something that Ryan Tierney from Seating Matters touches on. Have the answer right where the question is. If there's a medical emergency in the bathroom and we need to get in, we know exactly where the key is, and there's no fumbling looking for it. It's right there.
Cool.
I'll take you to our lunch area.
And I'd say 99% of every company out there, Rich, would have that key in the bottom of some drawer, and you'd never know what it was, where it was, when you needed it.
Exactly. The person would be dead before you found it.
That's where it was
Yeah.
here. It was buried in a drawer. And actually, our retired machinist, Paul, the credit goes to him. He brought it up one day. He says, hey, how do we get in these bathrooms if somebody's got an emergency? And I spent an hour digging for the key to find it, and he mounted them all at all the bathrooms.
Oh, very cool.
We're here in our lunchroom, and it always looks this spotless. This goes back to the culture of respect and leaving it better than you found it. Do people forget to push their chairs in occasionally? Of course, if it happens, we take them outside behind the dumpster and slap them up a little bit. You can't even hear because there's cameras. So, but no, that's happening. Friendly reminder to let the person know.
Well, wait a minute. This is an Italian company, so that's appropriate, isn't it?
We're Polish. We're Italians and Polish bodies. So everything is labeled and it has exact locations where it goes. Salt, pepper shakers, paper towels, even the tables, if they get moved when they're cleaned, they know exactly where they go. Another thing to touch on, because it's very important that you have standards in the shop, underneath the sink, everything is laid out the exact same way with the exact same cleaning materials. So with that, I'll also show you the utensils, all neatly placed in Kaizen foam. And you'll see that we use Kaizen foam for just about everything in this place. There's a ton of uses for it. We also have our Wi-Fi password, and it's a QR code. So instead of asking somebody, you just scan it, and you sign right in, and that eliminates any extra processing.
Terrific.
So with that, I'll pass it back to Dave, and he'll show more of the assembly area.
Okay, guys.
Real quick, can I ask one question, Dave, real quick of Rich?
Yeah,
so
sure.
how long did it take Rich to adapt to this whole new change? Was it immediate for you? Did it happen? Did it take 5 months? What was it before you realized the benefit and you thought this was for real?
So I didn't know anything about Lean before hearing about it, or Six Sigma or anything like that. So I was pretty hesitant going in. After about 2 to 3 months and seeing the actual improvements happening, you really start to realize this is definitely the best way to go, and I would never go back.
Was there one improvement that was made that really helped you? You felt the benefit that you said, God, this is awesome. I'm so glad we did this. Was there one thing?
Yeah, it would definitely be the improvement to my work area, because before it was pretty much in shambles and it was a nightmare to work with. Now it breathes.
It's joy.
Yes, exactly.
I have
Awesome.
around that for Rich as well. Rich, but what would you say as far as the culture and how you feel about coming to work here versus before we started this journey?
It's a complete night and day difference. The morning meetings are really crucial to that. And the open communication that we have now makes things a million times better. You can actually discuss things. You can make improvements to stuff. It's a world of difference.
Awesome.
Perfect.
Okay, continue on.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay, guys, so I'm going to show you a couple of cells here. So when we got started, Lean's a very big encompassing project, and there's a lot, there's 8 wastes. What we did is we focused on waste of motion predominantly, along with Kanban cards. Rich will explain our Kanban cards next up. But this is an assembly cell. This is the before of how we started. And this is very representative of a lot of cells in the shop. Tools just thrown in paint buckets, not arranged very well, no prescribed locations. Look, the box cutters just laying up there, never went to the same place twice. Some cleaners here, just sloppy. And it was so wasteful. We're walking around all the time. Oh, we don't have this. We need to go get this tool. We don't have the pliers. So we really focused on getting everything we needed in every cell and not wasting motion walking around this whole facility for everything we need. So as you can see here, we use a lot of Kaizen foam. We actually use a piece of Kaizen foam here at assembly to lay the parts on because it's nice and protected for our parts. These are stage parts that are done from paint, and they're going to get assembled here later today. So this is one of the parts that we laser etched the graphics. So this is a finished part just waiting for assembly. So we've got a few jobs here ready to go. We generally don't have many jobs here long because we like the one-piece flow and we get them out the door. Now we are a craft production house really because we're doing boutique work. So it's really key that we have everything we need where we need it. So we've got all these tools. We've got many custom tools that we've made. This is a custom tool here for putting snap rings on. And we also have to ream some holes to take the paint out prior to assembly. Well, in the past, we would go dig around through a drawer, find a reamer, find something to put it in. Now, these are all labeled in prescribed locations. Everything we need is right here. So we're not wasting time hunting for things. We've got good visual controls here. We use some overlays that we produce. We have them labeled, stuck above as an example, along with the label. We've got other items, pieces of it here, because, searching labels is hard, but when you look for the actual item, it's much easier. So we've got this cell, and then we've got another cell over here, which is disassembly, because we can't reassemble with the same tools we disassemble with because of the coating gets all those tools grubby. So our goal is to get every cell totally tuned up. Then our next challenge is to work on waste to transportation. We're going to change the entire facility so we have a better flow from station to station. Okay, with that, I'll turn it back to Rich to talk about Kanban.
Yeah, my observation, Dave, just so you know, is it looked better than a surgery room. And, hundreds of thousands of people die every year in medical malpractice. And I think a lot less would die if people practice lean the way you're doing it.
Oh, I agree. I should just, while we're walking, I'll point something else out. We have speaker systems and clocks throughout the building. And we have time standards and notifications that we can program that play over that system. It basically severs our music, plays a notification. So that was a really nice improvement as well.
All right, so I'm going to touch on Kanban now. So these are our Kanban cards. They're bright red, double-sided and laminated for protection. They're easy to spot. On it, we have our part ID, which is for our ERP system. We have the actual product, the manufacturer, the safety stock, which is left before we reorder, the actual reorder quantity, and the location. For this, it's janitorial, rack 1, 4A, and this touches on the crumb trails as well. So it's the same system. Janitorial, rack 1, and you go down, 4A, that's your toilet paper, you know exactly where it goes. So the way it would work is, once all this material here is taken, and you reach into the safety stock for the first time, you'll take this, the Kanban card will be right there, you pull it, triggering the signal, you take it, and we have a drop box right outside. You drop it in. So within 24 hours, the water splitter will see it, collect it, and order it.
So the red really stands out for us. So from 30, 40 feet away, I can see that there's a card that needs to be pulled.
Well, you're in the Ferrari business, so that's why you're red. We know it drives you. Everything's got to be hot. So, So
okay,
what was it like?
over.
What Ryan, real quickly, because we only have 10 minutes left total. What was it like before without this Kanban system working at Rich or Ryan, either one? What was it like before working here?
There was no system at all. So half the time things wouldn't get ordered. You didn't know who to talk to order it. So you were out of stuff for a while sometimes. It was an absolute nightmare.
Yeah, I mean, it was extra motion, loss of employee potential. We'd have to go over to Dave's office in the front of the building to ask, can you order something? He would write it down on a piece of paper and we might see it within a couple of weeks sometimes.
Hey, it wasn't that bad.
And it's fair to say there are thousands of items in your facility that have been Kanban.
Yeah, I won't lie, we're not 100%. We are, right. We're probably 95% on supplies, but on the product end of the business, we're probably only 5%. So, we're getting, it's a slow process.
Yeah. Okay, good. Excellent. Okay, Ryan, go ahead.
Well, I'm Ryan and welcome to the paint department. We have several cells here where we receive parts from prep and then we put them on fixtures, we label them, we mix the paint over here, and we do some sanding and repairs as well. So first I'd like to show you up here, this is our before picture of what our cell looked like approximately 3 years ago when I arrived here. And I thought this place was super clean when I arrived here, but as you can see, there's disorganization, nothing has a place. So over here, our cell now, as you can see, everything has a place. Everything's in Kaizen foam. We have everything reachable, easy to use, easy to grab. Everything is labeled. Everything is GPS taped, so we know what cell it belongs to. All our sandpaper we need, our glues, anything that you might need throughout the day while you're working on these parts is available to you right here at the cell.
It's unbelievable.
Yep. And then right here, real quick, I'll just show you our identification tags that we use. This is so there is zero ambiguity and no over processing, bothering another employee. Oh, what stage is this part in? You look over here on the shelf, they're labeled perfectly.
Wait, Ryan, I want you to move a little slower on that because I didn't get what that says on those tags. I haven't got the best eyesight. So what do those tags say real quickly?
You want me to read them?
Just explain to me what's going on.
So these are, Paul, these tags are to identify what stage the part is in before it goes to paint, or it maybe has been primed and needs to be sanded. So this way, everybody knows what state the part's in all the time.
Okay, got it. I got it. You just had
Now,
to read those to me because I couldn't read them.
Stick, and somebody else had to pick up the, where we left off. People know exactly what's going on.
Okay, perfect. Now I get it. I just couldn't read the signs.
Okay, so like right here, for instance, this is special paint. We usually paint black all the time. Once in a while, we have another color. So these magnetic tags go right on the fixture blocks, and you know exactly what's going on with those parts.
And that represents the color that it's being painted, the beige.
Correct. That's correct. And then also over here, we have our fixtures.
World class.
And we have the red,
world class, Ryan.
Our visuals. So we know exactly what goes in each cup. So when you're looking for them or putting them back, there's zero ambiguity to where they go.
These fixtures might look all the same to the, the layperson, but they're all very, very specific for how we grab many, many different parts. So what these guys have done is they've done a great job of fixing one and painting it red so it always stays here. And that way you can match it up to know how to put it right back to the place.
Phenomenal. Very cool. Okay.
That is really good.
So thank you. So over here is our paint mixing area. Here's the before of what we were doing before. As you can see, these red containers, they're for our liners for our spray guns. And the caps are over here. The cup liners are over here. The hard liners are over here. So nothing was in place. You were scattered everywhere. So now we have everything set up like an assembly line. Everything is in order as you would use it as you go. We even have paper towels on a quick dispenser so that one's always waiting there for you. Our spray guns are right here. Over here, Dave will show you. That's our strainer system. Over here, I'll show you a real quick tool that our machinist made, our retail machinist made. We have these nylon retention rings that come on the cans so they don't spill. They're super hard to get off. We used to have to go across the shop, get a hacksaw, get some pliers. Now, look at that.
And look at the back end of the tool.
And then the back end of the tool is a flathead screwdriver. You can pop it open real easy. So it's
incredible.
A 2-in-1.
Cool.
Just a cool little, that saved us probably about 5 minutes running around.
Lean thinking, that's all I can say.
Yep. And then over here, even real quick, I just want to show you our paint cleaning. When we take the guns apart, we put them in a certain, as we take them apart, they're labeled. Each part will go inside one of these little holes here, and they're held there until we get to cleaning them as we're going, so that you don't lose them and there's zero confusion or.
Can you go back and show me the spray guns real quick? Because you have some cool identifications on those as well.
Oh, yes. Yeah, we
don't move very slow. Don't move. Yeah, go ahead.
GPS dots we use for each gun so that they go back in the same place every time.
Because they're different materials in every gun.
Different materials and different painters use them.
Yeah, we don't like to use, we have a gun specifically for white, so we don't like to use any other color in there because we clean very good, but we don't want to have cross contamination.
Sure.
Okay, so also I can show you real quick over here at our spray booth in our vestibule. Right here, we have a remote start for the booth to turn the air on. We used to have to travel all the way over on the other side of the bench to turn the booth on and then go into the vestibule. Now, if we're already in the vestibule, we can just reach out and turn it on. And we even have some GPS fast cap dots on the middle ones, so we know where we're reaching when we grab it. We know we're either here or the right or the left.
This was a $2,500 investment, folks. How many people you think would spend $2,500 on this? I watch guys go back and forth all the time.
For a few steps. And this is when you're committed.
No way.
I love it. Yep. Excellent. I love it.
I'll just show you real quick our vestibule. We have 2 ovens so that there's 0 wait time for when there's 2 painters in here, or even 1 painter. We can keep moving. There's just very little wait time. This is a paint booth here, fellas. We have 2 identical booths, custom designed and built. And as Ryan was saying, this is the vestibule where we bake and rework a little bit in the middle. And we've tuned this. There's 1,000 improvements in here, if not more.
Wow, looks incredible.
It's unbelievable.
Okay, very, very, very cool. So Dave, my question to you, and we're going to get going on the Q&A right now, is what were the 3 most difficult things for you to overcome at implementing Lean? What were the big challenges for you?
So number 1 was definitely altering my own behavior. After 22 years, I used to work very late and I would come in late. So I would come in about 8:30 or 9, totally, not to any standard by any means. So these guys wanted to start all early to get out early. And I had machinists starting at 7, and then most of them started at 8. They wanted to come in at 7. I'll be honest, I was hesitant to allow that because I thought, they need me for things. I wouldn't be here. And it was really all about my behavior. So I decided, you know what, we're going to do this for them, servant leadership. I'm going to give them the 7 a.m. start, and I'm going to get my ass here by 7 a.m. So I've been doing that for 2.5 years, which I'm not going to lie, it was a challenge in the beginning, but now I get up at 5:20 every day. It's a piece of cake. So
why do you like getting up early? Why do you think it works better? Real quickly.
Well, it works. It's important as a team. Now, I'm not a sports guy, but if you can imagine a football team, the quarterback being there and the other members not being there at the same time, how are you going to win? You're not going to win.
Right.
So as a team, we need to be here at the same time. In fact, anybody that I look to hire, if they can't start at 7, I don't care if they're Superman, they don't get a job here, because we have to have a team, everyone starting, everyone part of the morning Kata. It has to be that way. So excellent. I believe that as a group, we all come together, just like an army, and we, it's game on,
So the first one was you. What's the second and third?
Second is, the behavioral changes of people, employees is a major challenge. And I won't sugarcoat it. It took a long time. This team is pretty amazing right now. And there's a flare up every once in a while because we're all human beings and we have different personalities. But, again, as the book, The Road Less Stupid, you get what you tolerate. And now, as soon as there's an issue, it's addressed immediately. We don't sweep anything under the carpet. And I had to have a lot of very, very uncomfortable conversations throughout the last 2.5 years to get where we are. I will tell you, anybody that's listening, it's dramatically reduced because now we've built such a great culture that rarely is there an issue. So if you're going to do this and you're not going to have the courage to have those uncomfortable conversations and do what's right for the customer and what's right for the company as a team, don't even try because you're just wasting your time.
What's the third thing? Excellent point.
So the third is looking to hire new people and getting them to adapt to this culture. We're not Japan, but we're about as close to Japan as you're going to get in the United States. And we're pulling from an eroded culture of the Western world, and trying to bring people into this is a major challenge. I mean, we need to hire 4 or 5 people like tomorrow, and it's very difficult to find people that can work to this level. And it's not a hard job. It's just a very focused job. Now, I didn't mention it. Nobody here has cell phones while they work, only breaks and lunch. So, I mean, these guys, when they're working, they're focused. Not hard, not beat themselves, but they're focused. We're here to serve the customer, and that's what we're doing.
Phenomenal answers. Great. Okay, let's go to Q&A, and we finished right on time. Perfect. Richard, first question.
All right. So this is from Alex, Dave.
Okay.
For Soji days, how long do you do it? Is it the same as for your improvement day times?
It's about 30 minutes. Sometimes we'll only do 20. If the morning meeting goes a little long, if we're watching a long video, we'll push it a little bit and do a little less Soji. We're actually going to be changing up our morning Kata a little bit. We're probably going to be a bit more regimented on the time.
Okay, next question.
Okay, so this is from one of the, what I'm going to say is one of the gold star people, from Allison and Ryan. They said your facility is amazing. Do you bring customers to see it?
What we do, actually, Richard, a lot of customers from Canada would often drive down pre-COVID because they were close enough. Instead of shipping parts, they would drive them down, drop them off, and then pick them up. So we've probably had more Canadian customers than anything. Of course, there's local Buffalo customers, but there's not many. There's not many Ferraris here. But generally, it's just in those two areas because most, somebody's not going to come from California here.
And what reaction are those customers when they come in? What do they say?
Oh, they're numb. They can't even comprehend what they're seeing.
No. Okay. Next one from Tony. He's asking, what are you going to work on next?
We're going to work on reducing the waste of transportation. The goal is to literally move everything around in this facility so we have better flow, more assembly line flow from cell to cell. Right now we have a lot of zigzagging going on, and we want to streamline it and have it, but that's what we call it, lean, I guess, a monument. That's a big undertaking for us to do that, but that's our focus within the next year.
Okay, we've finished the questions right now. Now I've got another one coming in from Mike Vokes. If no cell phones, what do you use to take improvement videos?
So yeah, cell phones are allowed for that, and generally those are being done at a break or after work. Ryan's the one doing most of those because he's part of the Lean Maniacs chat.
And actually, the videos you produced are very, very good too. Very helpful.
Oh, they really are. Everybody uses them in their morning meetings. So here's another question. This is from me personally. Dave, you started a chat group called Lean Maniacs. How much of an influence has that chat group had on you and inspiring your team to greater heights?
So a great question. Ryan participates on that chat, as you know. We do share some things in our morning meeting from other people. We've shared a lot of Ryan Terity stuff. I mean, Ryan's the ultimate rock star. So it's helped dramatically because like I said, everything you're looking at here is stolen from somebody else. We're not all that creative. We just grab things and we build off of building blocks from everybody else. And I don't think we'd be where we are without everyone else influencing us.
Excellent.
Okay, next question. Would this work in government? I'm going to say absolutely.
Oh, yeah, it's simple. I mean, it should be working in government. We wouldn't have the disaster world we've got.
And we'd be all paying 5% taxes instead of 38%.
Right. Yep.
Absolutely. From Anthony, do you have the story documented where you started and where you are presently? So what's it meant as far as results?
So I don't have any hard measurements because what we do is so boutique that it's very hard. We're not making the same part every day where we have tack time. I just know from what our monthly output is, and we are about 40% more than we were. So it's a massive change. And I think everyone here sees it. They see what the yield is each day. And if they remember, like Ryan, you think about what you yielded yesterday versus a year ago, I'm thinking it's pretty substantial.
Pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember,
Next one.
Dave, when you first started it, you came to me a lot and said, boy, Paul, I'm investing a lot of money, a lot of time here. I said, it's part of the whole game. You have to do that. And but you pushed through that, and it seems like it paid off.
If anybody thinks this is a quick fix, or, as Paul, you like to say, the flavor of the month, they're wasting their time. You're either all in or you're not. And, I'm not a religious guy. I'm not anti-religious, but there was something about this that I had a lot of faith in. And I'm not a type of guy that has faith in things, but maybe it's just something how you present it. But I watched your first 5 or 6 YouTube videos when I started, I found you, and I was hooked. I'm like, this is it. There's no other way. I just knew right then. And I also knew it wasn't going to be easy, and it's not. I would never tell anybody this has been easy. It's been hard as hell, but it's worth every minute of it, and it's worth every dollar.
Yeah. Here's one from Andres, who's on our chat group, and I'm going to change it up a little bit. He's saying, what tip do you have for people just starting out with 2-second lean? That's Andres' question, but here's the thing. A lot of people will be watching and listening to this who are not leaders or owners of the company. How do they influence the leadership to drink the elixir, Dave?
Well, I'd say that it's really tough, because I think it takes something from the leader, some piece of motivation to want to do it. In my case, it was the employee that was super talented, that was super wasteful. So I was looking for something. And again, he was just the excuse. Ultimately, when I learned about this, I knew it was the right thing to do to have a better culture. I mean, I knew we had back talk going on here, and I didn't like that. I want people to come here and want to be part of this. So I don't really know how you influence the leadership, because there is people on our chat that are not the owners and not, the main leaders, and they had struggled to influence the owners, especially if a company's making money. The company's like, yeah, well, what do I care? I'm making money. And nobody wants conflict, and everybody wants things easy. So I don't have that answer. I mean, you could try to present some of the stuff that others on this group are doing around the world and show them as examples. But for them, it's the old saying, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. They have to have a personal interest in wanting to make the change.
Yeah, you know what? And I think the first thing that I would say to people is go share this tour with your leaders and let them be inspired to go to greater heights. Absolutely. So we've had a couple of people ask, how do we get on Lean Maniac? So Dave, do you want to give them the rules, and maybe they'll...
Yeah, first of all, I'm the biggest prick that ever known to mankind. So
I can testify to that.
You got to live up to two things. Audio messages, only one sentence text. Okay, if you put one period in, that's the end of your text, not two. And you have to participate weekly by uploading an improvement video that you've done and commenting on something that someone else has done. And we've been a little bit sloppy lately on the standard. I think, Tom and I are going to start, throwing some people out, because we want people that are givers, not takers. So if you want in, you can contact me. As long as you agree to those rules, you're in. And you just know that if you don't follow suit, because we've had a lot of people, yeah, I want to do it. They come in, 2 weeks go by, they don't even post anything, and boom, we chop them.
Okay, here's the next one from Alex's team. The team's asking, how did you overcome to convince people to get in the culture? What triggered the team to get on board? And what was the one thing that made a difference to get them motivated?
That's I'm gonna let them answer, because Rich and Ryan would know better of why they got on board than I can answer that. All I did was persist. What happened to them? Let's let those guys answer.
So I'll start by saying, well, first of all, Dave inspired us when he brought this to our attention. I knew Lean. I worked for 2 companies that attempted Lean in the textbook matter. And when the way Dave presented it, he presented it to us like we mattered, our voice mattered, and what we did, we can make improvements. We had permission to stop and fix things instead of just pushing them under the rug and moving along and letting things erode away. So we can stop, fix things. That was the big inspiration. And we did it in slow increments. We started out by having 1 meeting a week. Then we implemented morning stretches, then eventually 3S and Soji. So all those things were built up in small increments. And so again, it was inspiration for me. I was inspired to want to participate. Rich?
Yeah, same thing Ryan says. And it was that Dave actually cared. So seeing that and knowing that it was for real really made me care more as well. And the fact that things were getting better everywhere was making it, you couldn't resist it. It was amazing, really.
Yeah, it was believable.
Unbelievable. Okay, we've got time for one more question, and this probably resonates through a lot of organizations. How do you measure your progress at each stage of your flow? In other words, are you ahead of the game? Are you on schedule, or are you behind schedule? Have you got any KPIs that you measure?
We don't, and you know what, we kind of should, but the problem, Richard, is there's so many variables in what we're doing. Like, for example, prepping part A, 2 parts that are identical. One may take double the amount of time than the other based on how failed the coating is. So it's very, very hard on what we do to have tack time. So we have a good general sense about what we can accomplish each day. And we really kind of lick our thumb and stick it in the sky for scheduling. Yeah, but I will say is I try to make the demands very reasonable. So everybody's, they're pushed, but not unrealistically pushed. And these guys are actually exceeding, what I think should be done each day. So they're stepping it up and getting more done.
Brought to you by paulakers.net, where you'll find all Paul's books and lean resources for free, including the new 2-second lean play app, like Audible, but free. To listen to Lean is Lean on the 2-second lean play app at paulakers.net.